Amina woke up before sunrise just as she did every morning. The sky was still dark and the air was cold. She stretched her tired arms and listened to the quiet sounds of her small village. Her mother, Miriam, was already outside, arranging the baskets of fruit they would take to the market. Their little mud house stood at the edge of the village, close to the tall mango trees that swayed gently whenever the wind passed through. Amina was only 16, but she carried responsibilities much heavier than her age. She washed her face with cold water from the clay pot and hurried outside to help her mother. Miriam smiled at her, even though her eyes always looked tired. "Morning, my daughter," her mother said softly. Amina smiled back. "Morning, Mama." They lifted the baskets together. The fruits were fresh: mangoes, bananas, and oranges collected from their small family garden. Selling them in the busy village market was their only source of income. Amina balanced one basket on her head and carried the smaller ones in her hands. Her mother carried the rest. The walk to the market took almost an hour. The earth felt cool beneath their feet, and the birds had begun to sing. Amina enjoyed this time even though life was hard. She liked the sound of the village waking up, the laughter of small children running around, and the smell of fresh food being cooked in nearby houses. By the time they reached the market, the sun had risen and warmed the dusty ground. People were already setting up their stalls. Amina helped her mother arrange the fruits in neat piles. She wiped the mangoes to make them shine and placed the oranges in a woven tray. She loved watching the market come alive, women calling out prices, men carrying heavy bags, children weaving through the crowd. But even in the middle of all the noise and business, Amina felt something heavy inside her. For weeks, she had been feeling unusually tired. Sometimes her stomach hurt, sometimes her back. She ignored it at first, thinking it was just from working too much. But lately the feeling had grown stronger. She tried to hide it from her mother, who already carried too many burdens. Miriam was strong, but she worked too hard, and Amina never wanted her to worry more than she already did. As the day went on, Amina felt dizzy. She tried to smile at the customers, but her legs felt weak. When she bent down to pick up a fallen mango, the world suddenly spun for a moment. She grabbed the edge of the wooden table to steady herself. Miriam noticed. "Amina, are you okay?" "Yes, Mama." "Just a little tired," she whispered, forcing a smile. Her mother frowned with concern. "You have been tired for many days now." Amina looked away. "It is nothing. I am fine." But she was not fine. Her head was hurting, and the heat of the sun made her feel worse. The market noise suddenly felt too loud and she wished she could sit down. She didn't say anything because she knew how hard it was to pay for a doctor. Even simple medicine cost more than they earned in a day. Around noon, the market leader, an older woman named Auntie Kasewa, walked by. She had known Amina since she was a child. She stopped and looked closely at her. "My child, you do not look well," she said. Amina tried to laugh. "I am just tired." "Tired?" "This looks more than tired," Auntie Kasewa said. She put a gentle hand on Amina's forehead. "You feel warm. When did you last see a doctor?" Amina lowered her eyes. "Never." The older woman sighed. "That is not good. Health is important, my daughter. You cannot work like this." She reached into her colorful cloth bag and pulled out a small paper voucher with a blue stamp on it. "Here," she said. "A women's group came last week and left these for girls who need help. It is a free checkup at a clinic in the city. You should go." Amina stared at the paper. Free checkup? She had never heard of such luck. The clinic name was printed neatly on the voucher. It looked strange and official, unlike anything she had seen before. "For me?" she asked softly. "Yes, for you," Auntie Kasewa replied. "You work hard, but you are still young. You deserve proper care. Take it." Amina looked at her mother, unsure. Miriam was quiet for a moment, thinking deeply. Then she nodded gently. "You will go," her mother said. "Your health matters more than anything. We will manage the market without you." Amina wanted to protest, but her mother's firm voice left no space for argument. She took the voucher and held it carefully in her hands, as if it were something precious. That night they returned home after a long day. The sky turned orange as the sun began to set. Amina helped her mother cook a simple meal of rice and beans. The heat from the small cooking fire made her head throb again. She tried to hide it, but her mother noticed everything. When they sat on the mat outside their home, Amina looked up at the stars. They shone brightly, scattered across the dark sky. She felt nervous about going to the city. She had never traveled alone, and the thought of visiting a clinic scared her. But she also hoped the doctor would help her understand what was wrong. Her mother sat beside her. "Do not be afraid, Amina. The world outside our village is big, but it is not unkind. Amina nodded and leaned against her mother's shoulder. She felt comforted by the steady heartbeat she heard there, the heartbeat that had guided her since she was born. The next morning, her mother braided her hair neatly and packed a small bag for her journey. She put some bread, a bottle of water, and a little money inside. When Amina stepped onto the main road to wait for the village bus, her hands trembled slightly. Many villagers passed by, wishing her luck. She felt shy but grateful. The women's group had given her something rare: hope. As she waited, she held the voucher tightly. She did not know what the clinic looked like or who the doctor would be. She did not know what they would say or what treatment she needed. All she knew was that she had to go. The bus soon arrived, dusty and loud. Amina climbed aboard and found a seat near the window. As it began to move, she watched her village slowly disappear behind her. The fields, the trees, the familiar faces, all became smaller as the road carried her forward. Amina did not realize it yet, but this simple journey to the city would soon change her life in ways she could never imagine. She felt afraid, unsure, and weak, but she also felt a tiny spark inside her, a spark of courage she did not know she had. And for the first time in a very long time, she whispered to herself, "Maybe things will get better." Amina's heart raced as the bus rumbled through the dusty roads leading to the city. The tall buildings and crowded streets were a world completely different from her quiet village. She clutched the voucher tightly in her hand, feeling both nervous and curious. The city smelled of smoke, food, and the many people walking along the sidewalks. She had never seen so many cars, so many faces, and so many sounds all at once. Every moment felt overwhelming, but she reminded herself that this trip was important. She needed help. When the bus finally stopped, Amina stepped out and followed the directions on the voucher. The clinic was on a busy street, but it was quiet inside. The walls were painted soft blue, and the air smelled clean and fresh. Amina felt a little calmer, but her hands still shook. She had never been inside such a place before. People in white coats moved quickly, speaking softly to patients and taking notes. She felt small among them, almost invisible. A kind nurse noticed her and smiled. "Hello, you must be Amina. Come with me," she said gently. Her calm voice made Amina feel a little braver. She followed the nurse down a long corridor filled with pictures of smiling children and families. The walls told stories of hope and care, and Amina thought for a moment that maybe she was in the right place after all. When they reached the doctor's room, Amina took a deep breath and stepped inside. She had imagined an older man with gray hair and a serious face. Instead, she saw a young man neatly dressed with a warm smile. His eyes were kind, and he looked at her without judgment. "Hello, Amina. I am Dr. Kofi Adu," he said. His voice was calm, friendly, and confident. "I hear you are not feeling well. Let's see how we can help you." Amina felt a small relief wash over her. This doctor did not seem frightening at all. She noticed that the room was clean, bright, and welcoming. There were books on health, pictures of families, and some plants by the window. The place did not feel like a hospital at all. It felt like someone cared deeply about the people who came here. Dr. Kofi asked her to sit on a chair while he gently asked questions about her health. "When did you start feeling unwell?" he asked. His tone was soft and he listened carefully to every word. Amina told him about the tiredness, the stomach pains, and the dizziness. She spoke slowly, afraid she might forget something important. He nodded. "Thank you for telling me everything, Amina. It helps me understand how to care for you." She noticed something else unusual about him. Unlike the doctors in movies she had seen, he didn't rush her. He didn't seem impatient. Instead, he made her feel that her feelings and worries were important. Amina's nerves started to calm down, and she even found herself smiling slightly. "Dr. Kofi, you are young," she said softly, almost surprised. "I thought doctors were older." He laughed gently. "Yes, I am young, but I wanted to help people who cannot always afford care. That is why I started this clinic. Money is not as important as health, especially for children and girls like you." Amina's eyes widened. She had never imagined that someone so young could be so kind and generous. She had always thought of doctors as distant or too busy to care about someone like her. But Dr. Kofi seemed to care deeply. He examined her carefully, asking more questions, checking her heartbeat, and looking at her carefully. Every movement was gentle. Amina felt no fear, only trust. She realized that she could tell him everything and he would not laugh or be angry. "Your condition is not very serious," Dr. Kofi said finally. "It seems your body is tired from hard work and stress. With some rest and proper care you will get better soon. I will give you medicine to help and I will guide you on how to take care of yourself." Amina's heart lifted. She had expected a long lecture, or perhaps medicine she could not afford, or even criticism. But this young doctor was kind, understanding, and helpful. She nodded and tried to hide her relief. "Do you know, Amina," Dr. Kofi continued, "I came from a family that had enough money, but I wanted to do something more. I wanted to help children and families who work hard but cannot always get help. That is why I opened this clinic." Amina was amazed. She never thought that someone so successful would care so much about ordinary people. Her village had so many children who worked every day, and so many families who could not see a doctor when they were sick. She felt that maybe, just maybe, this doctor could help more than just her. After finishing the checkup, he gave her a small packet of medicine and clear instructions. "Take this for a few days. Eat well, rest, and drink water. You will feel better," he said kindly. Amina looked at the medicine and then back at him. "Thank you, Dr. Kofi. I will follow your instructions." He smiled. "Good. And if you have any questions, you can come back anytime. We are here to help you." The nurse walked her to the exit, and Amina held the medicine tightly in her hands. As she stepped outside into the city streets again, she felt lighter. The fear that had weighed on her for days seemed smaller. She had faced something unknown and scary, and it had turned out to be a place of care, not danger. On the way back to the bus, Amina thought about Dr. Kofi's words. He wanted to help children and families like hers. She wondered how many people he had helped, how many lives he had touched. She thought about her mother, working so hard, and the other girls in her village who might never have the chance to see a doctor. A small idea formed in her mind, though she didn't say it out loud yet. For the first time in a long while, Amina felt a sense of hope. She had been scared to go to the city, scared of doctors, scared of the unknown. But she had found kindness in a place she did not expect. She had met someone who listened, understood, and cared. It was more than medicine. It was hope, the kind of hope that made her believe that maybe her life could change for the better. That day, as the bus carried her back to her village, Amina held the voucher and the medicine carefully. She thought about how fear sometimes hides opportunities and how courage, even when it feels small, can lead to surprising discoveries. Meeting Dr. Kofi had changed her view of the world. It had reminded her that even in a world that sometimes seemed harsh and unfair, there were people who cared, and there were paths to better days. And though she didn't know it yet, this unexpected doctor would soon play an important role not just in her health, but in her future, her dreams, and the future of her entire village. Amina returned home to her small village carrying the small packet of medicine Dr. Kofi had given her. Her legs felt tired from the journey, but her heart was lighter. That evening, she sat outside her little house while her mother prepared their simple meal. The sun dipped behind the trees, and the sky was painted in shades of orange and purple. Amina carefully looked at the small pills, reading the instructions again. She felt a mix of hope and curiosity. Could such a small packet really help her feel better? The next morning, she followed the instructions carefully. She drank water, ate the small breakfast her mother made, and tried to rest a little between trips to the market. The medicine made her feel slightly better within a few days, but what helped most was the care and advice she had received from Dr. Kofi. She realized that her body had been tired for a long time, and no one had really told her it was okay to slow down and take care of herself. As the days passed, Amina began thinking more about her conversation with Dr. Kofi. He had listened to her story patiently and had asked her questions about her dreams and her life. No one had ever done that before. She remembered how she had told him about wanting to go back to school. Life had been too hard and money was always too short. Her parents had wanted her to work to help the family survive, and the thought of going back to school had seemed impossible. Now though, she felt something stirring inside her, a small spark of hope. Maybe it was possible. Maybe someone cared enough to help her pursue her dream. She remembered Dr. Kofi's warm smile and the way he had spoken about helping children and families. That idea stayed with her like a soft light in the dark. She began paying more attention to herself, to her health, and to her body. She drank water when she felt thirsty, rested when she felt tired, and ate small portions more carefully. She noticed that she had more energy than before, and even though her body was still weak in parts, she felt stronger in spirit. Her mother noticed too. "Mama, I feel a little better," Amina said one morning as they walked to the market. "I think the medicine is helping." Miriam smiled, relieved. "I am happy, my daughter. But remember, you also need to take care of yourself with rest and good food. Work is important, but your health is more important." Amina nodded. She realized that health was not only about medicine but about balance, about listening to her own body, and giving herself the care she deserved. For the first time in a long time, she felt that she mattered, that her body and her dreams were important. One afternoon, she sat by the river near her village and thought about what Dr. Kofi had told her. He had explained that long hours of work, stress, and worry could make the body weak. It had made sense to her. She had been running herself too hard, trying to support her family and help at the market. She had not realized how much it was affecting her. Now she knew it was not shameful to take a break or to ask for help. She also thought about school. Dr. Kofi had asked her why she had stopped going. She had explained that her family could not afford fees, books, or uniforms. The doctor had listened carefully and encouraged her not to give up. He had told her that education was powerful, and that learning could open doors to a better life. That day, a tiny hope began growing in her heart. Maybe she could go back. Maybe she could learn new things and help her family in ways beyond selling fruit at the market. Her friends in the village noticed a change in her too. She walked taller, smiled more, and seemed lighter in her step. "Amina looks happier," one of them said quietly. They didn't know she had visited a doctor or that someone had shown her kindness and care. Amina didn't tell many people yet. She wanted to understand her own feelings first. Over the next weeks, she followed Dr. Kofi's advice carefully. She took her medicine on time and rested when she could. Slowly, her energy returned and she no longer felt dizzy in the middle of the market. She could help her mother without feeling exhausted. She began dreaming about the future again, imagining herself sitting in a classroom, reading books, and learning things she had never had a chance to know. One evening, she sat with her mother under the mango tree behind their house. The air was cool and the soft rustling of leaves made a gentle rhythm. "Mama," she said, her voice hesitant but excited, "I want to go back to school. I want to try again." Miriam looked at her daughter, surprised but happy. "Do you think you can?" she asked gently. "I do," Amina replied. "Dr. Kofi said there are ways to get help for girls like me. He said education can change our lives. I want to try." Her mother nodded slowly. "Then we will find a way. I will support you, my daughter." She held Amina's hand tightly. That moment felt like a promise of something new, a step toward hope and change. Amina felt a warmth inside her chest. The small checkup, the kind words, and the free medicine had done more than heal her body, they had begun to heal her heart and her dreams. She realized that even small acts of care could grow into something much bigger, something that could shape the future. She imagined returning to school, learning with other children, and helping her mother in smarter ways. She thought about the other girls in the village who had stopped going to school too. Maybe one day she could help them as well. The thought filled her with determination. Night came and Amina lay on the mat in her small home, thinking about the day, about her health, and about her dreams. She whispered quietly to herself, "I can do this. I will do this." The stars outside seemed brighter than usual, and she felt a small joy that had been missing for a long time. In her heart, Amina understood that this was just the beginning. She had taken the first steps toward a healthier body and a stronger mind. With the guidance and care she had received, and with her mother's support, she began to believe that her life could change in ways she had never imagined. The road ahead was still long, but she was no longer afraid. For the first time in many months, Amina felt hopeful and ready to face the future. Her simple visit to the doctor had given her more than medicine. It had given her courage, care, and the beginning of a dream that might one day grow into something beautiful. And with each passing day, she felt the strength within her return, like a small flame that could not be extinguished. A few weeks after Amina's visit to the clinic, a car arrived at the edge of her village. It was shiny and different from any vehicle she had ever seen. People gathered around, curious, whispering to one another about who it could be. From the car stepped Dr. Kofi, dressed simply but neatly. He smiled warmly at the villagers and waved. His presence caused a quiet excitement because they had heard of the kind doctor who helped children and families in the city. Amina watched from a distance, her heart beating fast. She had never expected to see him here in her small village. She ran toward him, careful not to trip on the dusty path. "Dr. Kofi," she called out. He knelt slightly and greeted her. "Amina, it is so good to see you again. How are you feeling?" "I am much better, thank you," she said shyly, holding the small packet of medicine she still carried as a reminder of her first visit. Dr. Kofi smiled. "That is wonderful. I have come because I want to see where you live and understand the challenges that girls like you face every day." He walked with her through the village, observing the small homes, the crowded paths, and the girls and boys working in the fields or helping at the market. He spoke with mothers and grandmothers, listened carefully, and took notes on a small pad. Amina watched him closely. He was not acting like an outsider. He was genuinely interested in their lives, their struggles, and their dreams. After walking for some time, he sat down with a group of girls under a large mango tree. "I want to help you," he said. "I want to create a program that will give girls the chance to study, to learn about health, and even to earn small incomes so that your families can live better." The girls looked at each other in surprise. None of them had ever heard of such help before. Amina felt her chest fill with hope. This could be the change she had been dreaming about, the opportunity she never thought would come. Dr. Kofi explained that the program would provide school supplies, books, uniforms, and fees for girls who wanted to continue their education. He said there would also be lessons on health and hygiene so everyone could learn how to take care of their bodies. He even spoke about teaching skills like sewing, weaving, or selling small goods so that families could earn money while girls studied. Amina listened carefully, feeling like her world was opening up. For years she had only thought of selling fruits at the market, helping her mother, and surviving day by day. The idea that she could go back to school and learn new things seemed almost like a dream. She could hardly believe it was real. Dr. Kofi asked if anyone had questions, and Amina timidly raised her hand. "Dr. Kofi," she said softly, "will this program really help girls like me go back to school?" "Yes, Amina," he replied, smiling. "I want to help you and other girls like you. Education is the key to a better future, and everyone deserves a chance." After that day, Dr. Kofi's team returned several times. They measured classrooms, prepared lists of supplies, and talked to parents. Amina helped them where she could, carrying papers or showing them the small paths to homes. Every visit made her feel more included, more important, and more hopeful. She began to realize that she was not just a girl from a poor village. She could be part of something bigger, something that could help many people. Finally, the program began. Amina received new books, a uniform, and a bag filled with school supplies. She held each item carefully, her eyes wide with excitement. She could feel a small burst of confidence inside her, the kind that makes someone stand a little taller and smile a little brighter. Her first day back at school was full of nervous energy. The classrooms were simple but clean, and the other girls looked curious and shy. Amina walked in with her new bag and uniform and found a desk near the window. She sat down and felt a warm sense of belonging. For the first time in a long while, she felt that she was exactly where she should be. Over the next weeks, Amina worked hard. She listened to her teachers, took notes in her new notebooks, and asked questions when she did not understand. Her confidence grew with each passing day. She realized that learning was not only interesting but also empowering. She began to see that her mind could carry her far beyond the small village she had always known. Outside school, she also attended sessions organized by Dr. Kofi's team. They taught girls about health, hygiene, and basic business skills. Amina learned how to take care of herself, how to save money, and even how to plan a small business. She practiced selling fruits at the market in a better way, keeping track of earnings and learning how to save a little for her own needs. Amina's mother watched her daughter with pride. "You are changing, Amina," she said one evening. "You walk with your head high. You are learning and your confidence shows." Amina smiled. "Mama, it is because of Dr. Kofi and his program. I feel like I can do more now. I can dream more." Her friends in the village noticed the change too. She spoke to them kindly, helped them understand the lessons she had learned, and encouraged them to join the program. Slowly, Amina became a small leader among the girls. She was not bossy or proud, but she shared what she learned and inspired others to try. Dr. Kofi returned to the village occasionally to check on the progress. Each time he saw Amina's growth, her energy, and her eagerness to learn. He was pleased not just because of her health, but because he saw that his efforts were creating change. Through one girl, the lives of many could be touched. Amina began to see that opportunities could arrive unexpectedly. A simple visit to the city clinic had not only helped her recover her health, but it had also opened doors to learning, growth, and self-confidence. She realized that even though life had been hard, kindness and determination could create new paths. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Amina's confidence continued to grow. She helped younger girls with reading, explained simple health tips, and shared stories of her small successes at school. The village began to notice the difference. Parents started supporting their daughters' education more, and girls became more active in learning and in small community businesses. Amina knew that none of this would have been possible without Dr. Kofi's visit and the program he started. But she also realized that she had to work hard, stay determined, and believe in herself. She had learned that opportunities could change a life, but only courage, effort, and hope could turn those opportunities into reality. For the first time, Amina felt truly proud of herself. She had faced illness, uncertainty, and fear. She had met someone who cared, received support, and taken steps toward her dreams. And now, with her health restored and a program in place to guide her, she saw a bright path ahead. She felt ready to walk it step by step with confidence, hope, and determination. The village, too, began to change slowly but surely. Where once education for girls was rare, now learning became a shared goal. Amina's small courage and Dr. Kofi's kindness were creating ripples of hope, and for the first time, Amina felt that her dreams were not just dreams, they were becoming a real part of her life. Amina woke up early that morning, feeling the sunlight streaming through the small cracks in the walls of her home. She stretched, feeling stronger than she had in months. Her body was no longer weak from illness, and her mind felt sharp and alert. The lessons she had learned from Dr. Kofi, from school, and from the new program were already shaping her into a more confident young girl. Today felt different. It was not just another day at school, it was a day full of possibilities. She helped her mother prepare breakfast and packed her school bag with care. The books and supplies given by the foundation were neatly placed inside, and she made sure everything was ready. Miriam watched her with pride. "You have changed, Amina. You are strong and you carry hope with you," she said softly. Amina smiled. "Mama, I want to help other girls too. I want them to see that they can learn and grow just like I am doing." Walking to school, she passed by the small market stalls and greeted neighbors. Everyone noticed her confident steps, the bright sparkle in her eyes, and the energy she carried. It was as if a small light had been lit within her, and it spread warmth wherever she went. At school, Amina found her friends and other girls from the village who had joined the program. Some of them were nervous, unsure about returning to learning after months or even years away. Amina remembered how scared she had been on her first day, and she wanted to make their experience easier. She welcomed them with a gentle smile, showed them where to sit, and helped them open their new books. "Don't be afraid," she told them softly. "We are all learning together. We'll be okay. You are not alone." Her words had power because they came from someone who had shared the same fears and struggles. Slowly, the girls began to relax, smile, and take part in the lessons. Amina realized that courage could be contagious and that her own growth could help others grow too. Meanwhile, Dr. Kofi's foundation was expanding. Inspired by Amina's story and the progress of the village, he sent more teachers, books, and supplies. Health workshops became regular, teaching not only girls but also mothers about hygiene, nutrition, and caring for their children. Small business training helped families earn extra income, reducing the pressure on children to work long hours. Amina felt proud to be part of the program. She attended the workshops, practiced the new skills, and shared her experiences with her friends. She learned how to manage a small vegetable stand, how to save money carefully, and even how to help younger children learn reading and writing. Each small achievement gave her more confidence and joy. Over time, her village began to change. More girls returned to school, parents encouraged education, and the market became a place where children could balance work and learning. People began to see the benefits of knowledge, care, and kindness. The village that had once struggled with poverty and limited opportunities was slowly transforming into a community where hope and learning were growing together. Amina often thought about Dr. Kofi. She remembered his warm smile, his gentle questions, and the way he had treated her with respect and kindness. He had shown her that success and wealth could be used to help others, and she wanted to carry that lesson forward. Sometimes she visited the clinic in the city, bringing updates about her village and learning new ideas to share with others. At school, she became a small leader without seeking recognition. She encouraged girls to study, showed them how to organize their books, and reminded them to care for their health. She even helped teachers by translating lessons into simpler words for those who had missed years of schooling. The other children admired her patience and care, and parents began to trust her guidance. One evening, while sitting under the mango tree near her home, Amina reflected on how much had changed. A year ago, she had been tired, weak, and unsure of her future. Today she had health, knowledge, and a purpose. She realized that life could change with small acts of kindness and determination. Dr. Kofi's support had given her the first step, but it was her own courage, hard work, and willingness to learn that had allowed her to walk forward. She thought about the girls who had not had the chance to learn and felt a strong desire to help them. "I want every girl in our village to have this chance," she whispered to herself. She imagined a future where children could learn, dream, and build lives full of hope, free from the fear and struggle she had once known. Her mother noticed her deep in thought. "What are you thinking, Amina?" she asked. "I am thinking about the future, Mama," Amina said with a soft smile. "I want to help others like Dr. Kofi helped me. I want to make sure no girl feels left behind." Miriam hugged her tightly. "You have grown into a remarkable young girl. You are showing that kindness and hope can change a life." Amina nodded. She understood now that life was not only about surviving but about making a difference. She could not change the whole world, but she could touch the lives around her, inspire courage and create hope. Months passed and Amina continued her work at school and in the village. She helped organize reading groups, health workshops, and small business training sessions. Children who had never been to school were now learning to read, and mothers who had worried about survival were learning how to support their families in better ways. Dr. Kofi visited the village from time to time, always smiling at the changes he saw. He watched as Amina guided other girls, spoke confidently and shared what she had learned. He knew that the seeds of hope had taken root and that they would grow even stronger over time. One sunny afternoon, Amina stood in the market, helping a younger girl organize fruits and teaching her how to count the sales. The girl looked up at her with admiration. "Amina, you make it look easy," she said shyly. Amina smiled warmly. "It will be easy if you keep trying and never give up. I am here to help you." The girl nodded and began arranging her fruits more carefully, just as Amina had shown her. Watching this, Amina felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She realized that the kindness she had received was now spreading, reaching others in ways she had never imagined. At that moment, Amina understood the power of hope, courage, and generosity. One act of kindness, from Dr. Kofi, had changed her life. Her health had returned, her mind had opened to new possibilities, and her heart had grown with confidence. But most importantly, that kindness had inspired her to help others, creating a ripple that could touch many lives in her village and beyond. Amina looked around at her friends, her family, and her village, and she smiled. The path ahead was still long, but she felt ready. She had learned that life could change with determination, care, and support. She was no longer a girl weighed down by fear and uncertainty. She was a young woman full of hope, courage, and purpose. Her story became known in the village and nearby communities. Parents began encouraging their children to go to school, and more girls found the courage to return to learning. Amina had become a symbol of hope, showing that even a poor girl from a small village could rise above her circumstances and inspire change. And though she still remembered the fear and uncertainty she had felt months ago, she now carried a new strength. She understood that kindness could change a life, and she promised herself that she would continue that legacy, helping others whenever she could, just as she had been helped. Through health, education, and guidance, Amina's future had transformed. Her village was slowly transforming too, and the small spark of hope that Dr. Kofi had planted in her heart was now a bright flame, lighting the way for countless others to follow. Her life had been changed, not by luck alone, but by courage, care, and the simple acts of kindness that created a chain of hope, showing that even the smallest effort can grow into something extraordinary. Amina smiled as the sun set over the village, knowing that this was only the beginning of a future full of promise, learning, and the power to make a difference.